Yes, you made it to your fourth and final challenge. So, what are we going to do? Well, what we're going to do is dive deeper into the Bootstrap documentation. We barely scratched the surface in this project. I had included a little bit of CSS in the starter code, and then we worked our way through the components a little bit to find a suitable display for our apartment listings. But we have a major untapped resource in our use of Bootstrap, and that is JavaScript. So Bootstrap provides us a JavaScript file that we can include and have access to some of the behavior it builds into its components. So for instance, things we could see in JavaScript are drop downs, things like this that would take JavaScript, as well as modals, something like this, which we will be doing. But it gives us a lot of cool behavior along with the CSS and HTML to create that component. So, getting started, in order to be able to utilize the JavaScript in Bootstrap, we need to add it to our application. So just as we've been adding other libraries, we're going to use CDN. It's listed here. So you're going to want to add this to your project in the head tag. And then now we have access to all of the JavaScript components. So how are we going to use them? One thing that I think we could do to make this project more interesting is basically have a modal, like you just saw displayed, pop up and notify the user that their apartment listing has been opened in a new tab in Google Maps. So basically, when this listing is clicked here, it's going to open the tab, and we would also have a modal here displaying a message saying something like, hey, a new tab has been opened with the apartment address you requested. Something along those lines. So back to the application, or back to the documentation rather. If we go up to the JavaScript section, there is some directions on how to implement a modal. So there's some example code here. You can basically, pull from this and customize just as we've done in the past. And then looking at our actual code, where is the modal going to go? Well, the modal is going to go in your HTML. By default, it's going to be hidden until it's triggered to display. And you can go ahead and just include a modal at the bottom here. So you want to still be within the body tag, but right above this closing body tag, you can go ahead and add a modal. Like I said, it's going to be hidden out of sight, but until it's triggered to open. But that'll just keep this HTML that we have rendered nice, and then you could even make a comment down there denoting that that is a modal. And then we need to open the modal. So going to our index.js file, if we want the modal to be displayed when a listing is clicked, you can probably guess that we're going to want to place it in here somewhere. So basically, it's part of a successful response. Maybe you could even have a modal if there's ever an error. But we basically want to trigger our modal opening somewhere around here. And some of the examples here just detail a button triggering the modal opening. But in our case, we actually want to trigger it through our JavaScript. So read through the documentation or Google around. It should not be that hard to find how to manually trigger a Bootstrap modal to open. And that should give you everything you need. If you feel so inspired, you can add more Bootstrap components, explore some of the CSS as well. You are at full creative liberty to adjust your application as you would like. So I will go ahead and leave you here to go forth and complete that challenge. I am here standing by, so please submit your project to me and the 1 month team, and we're going to give you feedback on it as well. So good luck.